pay-per-click, a big part of generating leads for any business. Obviously in the window treatment and awning area is our specialty. So happy to have you on here today, or watching us on YouTube or Facebook. Happy to be on, and excited to talk about some pay-per-click things today. So what we're going to talk about today is obviously what is pay-per-click. We're going to do a 101 overview real quick of what it is, how it works, the different pieces of it, and kind of get you guys to understand some of that. How to structure your campaigns so that you can drive down your cost per lead and really maximize that ROI. I'm going to cover landing pages. There's two basic types of landing pages. Talk about some KPIs, key performance indicators, and tracking. Very, very important piece of this. Also going to go over what's working now. And then we're going to talk about two other things. One is the unlimited scalability of pay-per-click. It's really only limited by the geographic area that you choose. And then lastly, we'll talk about why most campaigns fail. And quite honestly, one of the number one comments I get when talking to window treatment and awning dealers is just that they tried it, it didn't work. They blew through $1,000 or something, and pay-per-click didn't work for them. So we're going to talk about some of those things today, and maybe find out why they could have failed, and what you could do differently. A little bit about me real quick. My name is Will Hankey. My business is called Window Treatment Marketing Pros. We are a veteran-owned company, family-owned company. I wrote the book, Triple Your Window Treatment and Awning Leads. And if you didn't get a copy of this book yet, we'll talk about that at the end, how you can get your own copy. So really excited to have you on today. So let's see here. Oh, Q&A. If you do have any questions, feel free to post those in the chat or in the comments below. And we'll try to get to all those questions today near the end. And want to make sure everybody's clear and understands everything we're kind of talking about today. So pay-per-click is a piece of a system we call the digital dominance method. There are 12 main pieces to this, and you've probably heard many times people say, oh, you really need to do SEO. Oh, you really need to do social media. Oh, you really need to do paid ads, right? There are all these different things you could be doing. And we've kind of segmented them into 12 main areas. Today, we're going to be talking about number 5, which is the pay-per-click area, or paid ads in general, how you can get leads specifically through this particular method or platform. So have you used pay-per-click in the past to generate leads? Now, again, this is where some people say, yeah, I tried it, didn't work. Other people say, oh yeah, we spend a lot. I talked to some window treatment companies who are spending thousands and even tens of thousands on the awning side a lot to generate more leads. And definitely there's an audience on both sides. There's an audience that says, yeah, we tried it, didn't work. And then there's the ones that are having fantastic success with it. So we're going to talk about, obviously, the ones that are having success and what they can do. So should pay-per-click be part of your overall internet marketing strategy? Well, yeah. Here's a recent study that was done. What makes the biggest impact on lead generation? We're looking mostly on the right here at the B2C, SEO being 50% of the impact. So a great foundation, a good website, good search engine optimization, ongoing content, all of the pieces to have that in place is by far the biggest impact, obviously, that you can have on your business. And then the next two are pay-per-click and social media. Having those in place are just going to be bolster your SEO and bolster the number of the impact on your business, and obviously on the amount of leads that you get. Here's a recent chart that I saw, average conversion rate. Now I'm diving a little bit into the types of paid ads, and we'll kind of circle back to this. But there's two big types here. There is search ads, and then there's something called the display network. So search ads is what most of our clients use, and that's somebody going to Google, they're typing in window treatments, Memphis, and your ad shows up there. Those are search ads, and that's what everybody's used to seeing. There's also the display network, which is ads that you'll see in other places. For instance, if you're playing a game on your phone, or you're on Facebook and an ad shows up in Facebook Messenger, those kinds of things are different places that it could be display network related. Ads on other websites that are called is it AdWords? No, it's not AdWords. I can't think. AdSense. I couldn't think of it for a minute there. AdSense ads. So these do not convert very well, quite honestly. But these search ads do have a decent impact on overall lead quality. And by the way, that chart was specifically, the one I circled here was specifically for home and garden, being the area that we kind of work in with the window treatments and awnings. So now the one thing I should mention, and this is not SEO versus pay-per-click. I remember years ago I did a speech one time, or a talk on stage with a friend of mine who was a big pay-per-click guy. I'm a big SEO guy. So we had kind of had to duke it out of which one was better. And really at the end of the day, they're both required. They're both necessary. SEO has a huge impact on your site and on your leads. Pay-per-click is a big part of that for different reasons. There's pros and cons to that we'll talk a little bit about. But making them work together is really going to help you get the best results overall. And that is the strategy that we employ at Window Treatment Marketing Pros. So as I said, this is piece number 5 of our digital dominance method. There are a lot of other pieces. And if you have been on any of our other trainings, or maybe you don't know about other trainings, you can find all of those at wtmarketingpros.com/training. We put all 11 out there that we do throughout the year. And sometimes we do more than that, actually. But all of those are out there. You can find those trainings on all kinds of subjects, from keyword research to Google My Business to pay-per-click to optimizing content, social media. All these different things are out there. So, all right. So obviously the answer is yes. It should definitely be a part of your strategy. You can start showing up very quickly. Get your ads set up and hit the publish button, and they're live. With SEO, that takes a lot longer to get kind of momentum going. You can show up exactly where people are looking, and as often as you can afford to show up there. You can also show up for what we call geo-modified terms. So somebody might go to the internet or to Google and just type in awnings. So you can show up when people search those. And then the unlimited scalability, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but you'll see the little asterisk there, requires unlimited budget. So yes, it is unlimited on the scale side, but maybe limited on the budget side a little bit. So, all right, pay-per-click 101. So let's dive in a little bit to the how pay-per-click works overall. So there are a lot of different pay-per-click platforms. Not a lot of people realize this. They think, when they think pay-per-click, they think Google Ads, formerly called Google AdWords. But there are a bunch of different networks you can advertise on: Facebook, Houzz, Yelp, and then the bottom left here is Pinterest. So there are a lot of different places that you can potentially get eyeballs on your brand. There's not just the one that everybody talks about, which of course is Google AdWords. They're the big dogs, right? They're the main one. And that's the one that we're going to cover the most today, because it's also the one that's probably going to be the most profitable for you. So we want to make sure to talk mostly about this particular platform. All right. So Google ad types. In the world of Google ads, there are 4 types of ads that you can run. We've already talked about 2 of these: search ads and display ads. We've talked about those, but I'll go through each one. So search ads is what you're used to. Those are Those are the regular ads you see when you type some keyword in or some search. And they show up at the top. Sometimes they show up in other places. Those are search ads that we're very used to. There's app ads. I mentioned this earlier, actually. If you're playing a game on Facebook or just any kind of app, a lot of times those apps are ad driven. So having ads on those networks is another way to go about showing people or getting your business in front of them. Video ads, probably the one that is the most underused, yet has the most potential. The clients that we have that are using video ads are having great success. They're fantastic. The customers know who you are. They see your face. They've watched some of your ads. They've seen you before, so they're already kind of familiar with you on that platform. So video ads is huge, and not a lot of people take advantage of this. Example of a video ad would be what we call a pre-roll, and we'll actually talk a little bit more about this later on. But having an ad show up before you watch your YouTube video that you wanted to watch about the babies and cats, that ad showing up first can be driven by the Google ad platform. Lastly is display ads. These are typically ads that show up on other websites where people are showing ads in exchange for a very small number dollar value when somebody does click on those ads. The display network, I tend to turn it off for when I do ads for myself or when we do ads for clients. We don't really do the display network. So search ads, again, the most common. You can see here, when you do a search, this is window treatments Memphis. There's an ad right there at the top. That there's actually two ads there. 3-day blinds is a second ad. Those are typical search ads that we're used to. And then sometimes ads are at the bottom, not very often anymore, but there used to be ads at the bottom of Google for a lot of different searches as well. So audiences. Let's talk a little bit about, we know about the different types of ads that you can create, but what kind of audiences are there that we could show our ads to? Now, the most common one is people that are just searching in your geographical area, right? They're searching, you're typing in some sort of keyword, they're finding you. But there's other things you can do. You can actually upload a list of your past customers, right? So this blue one here, target customers, you can upload a list of customers that you've done business with in the past. If you have some sort of maybe a repair offer, or you just want to do another room in their house or something like that. So you can obviously target them. This would also include people that are typing in specific keywords, stuff like that. Now, the second one is exclude current customers to only reach new customers. So same process. You upload your list of past customers that you've had, and then you exclude that list. So Google looks at who those people are, and then they say, okay, we don't want to show ads to these people because they've already engaged with your business. We'll show ads to other people we think fit the demographic, things like that. And then the last one is reach users similar to your customers. So again, upload your customer list, and then you use something called a lookalike audience. Google looks at the list that you've uploaded. They understand their demographics, their buying habits, income, family types, all these different things they know about all these users. And they basically build an audience of people who look like the people that have already done business with you. So pretty cool, different ways to get in front of different types of audiences. All right. Let's see if I can get that to go down there. All right. Structuring your pay-per-click campaign. So this is all around kind of how to build this out so that you can see, so that you can have the best results when it comes to doing paid ads yourself. Okay. This is the normal way that people should be seeing or should be building a campaign. So your main account, each campaign should be its own thing. And then inside each campaign, you should have an ad group, you usually have multiples of these blue ones. and then under those, different keywords and ads. So every different campaign should have its own main area. So for instance, if you're doing a campaign specifically on the Hunter Douglas sale that's going on, the Hunter Douglas promotion right now, right? That might be a campaign level thing that you're just doing a campaign specifically on the Hunter Douglas rebates. Then you might have ad groups under there, keywords under there. That's the main way, and I'm going to show you guys kind of how this all builds out. So at the campaign level, these are probably going to match up to the main categories on your website. So for instance, hard treatments, soft treatments, upholstery. If you do repair, if you do commercial, those kinds of things. You could also do a brand campaign. That means just promoting your brand out there to get more eyeballs. Those, kind of like a brand awareness thing. And then generic window treatments. So these are searches for generic words without location. For instance, somebody who just goes to Google and types in shutters, right? You can target those types of people as well. Now, when it comes to ad groups, this is where you start breaking your campaign down to target different services that match that particular area. So for instance, if you're doing a campaign specifically around soft treatments, you may have an ad group for draperies, curtains. You may have one for swags. You may have one for valances. So you're starting to kind of segment these things even more. And do you have to do this? No, you could lump everything into one ad campaign and run it, but you're probably not going to have great results doing it that way. This method works a lot better. It also shows you, what people are not engaging with. That maybe either they're not interested in swags, right? Swags are not a thing right now, I don't think. So maybe that particular ad group just doesn't perform well, and you'll be able to see that. If you're running one on hard treatments, you might want separate ad groups specifically for blinds, shades, shutters. So there are a lot of different ways to do these ad groups and start to break these out accordingly. Here's an example of an ad level. So inside the Google Ads system, you can see all your ad groups, and then you can see the ads inside each of those ad groups as well. So you can really start to drill down when you have it built this way and understand exactly even what ads are working, what keywords are working well, and understand overall as everything starts to generate leads for you, which things are working and which ones aren't as well. So now, speaking of keywords, there are a couple different ways. Well, there's more than a couple. There's 4 different ways to match up keywords. Called broad. I thought I had it right here to explain. Let me see if the next one does. Something has something called date, where they understand relationships between words. So in a broad match situation, ads to show when somebody, they could actually show your ad when somebody typed in curtains or drapes, or anything that they think is related to the term that you want to show ads for. So it's broad match. It matches a very broad particular area. Now, what you can do here is you can start to dig down a little bit deeper into some of these. Oh, here's the one I was looking for. Broad match, modified broad match, phrase match, and exact match. So broad match is just you put in a word and they decide if they should show your ad or not. And it doesn't necessarily have to match the word that you chose, which is interesting. Now, under modified broad match, this is where you can start to put plus signs in front of particular keywords. And what this means is this word needs to be in the search. So in the first example here, draperies, somebody could search for draperies near me, or where can I get orange draperies, right? As long as the word is in the search at some point, that's what's considered a modified broad match. So they would match that. They see the word in there. Okay, we'll show the ad when that person uses that particular word. Last example here, drapery plus Dallas. So in that case, both of those words need to show up before your ad would show. Both of those words need to be in the search before your ad would show in that particular case. Now, the next type is phrase match. And this is where you put quotes around different keywords that you want Google to use. And this means these words have to be in the search in this order. So there could be words before and after, but they have to be in the search. So in the first example here, awnings near me, somebody could type in, where can I find awnings near me? And your ad would show because they used that exact phrase. So that's kind of how the phrase match works. It has to match whatever's in quotes, but there could be something before or after it. And then the last type is exact match. I only want my ads to show when somebody types in these exact characters, Dallas drapery. If somebody types that in, show my ad. If they type in Dallas, Texas drapery, don't show my ad. If they type in Dallas drapery near me, don't show my ad. So those are exact match is what it sounds like. Just having those like that. There's different ways of doing it. You really don't want to use broad match, and maybe not even the modified broad match, just because they're so generic and they give Google the freedom to spend your money, first of all, and maybe match up keywords that don't necessarily make sense, or searches that don't make sense in the most case. So that's how the different systems work. Now, on the other side of this is negative keywords, and there are definitely reasons and reasons to use negative keywords. For instance, jobs, careers, association. If you don't work on boats or autos, so you might be running searches for upholstery. A lot of our clients also do upholstery, but they don't want to do auto or boat upholstery. So you could add those words in as negative keywords, which basically means if somebody uses this word in their search, then that means do not include my ad as one of the results. So there are great reasons to use negative keywords. Another example is cheap, Home Depot, things like that. I've also got competitors here in bold. We recently added a policy for our company and for our clients that we don't do ads using competitors' names. The reason is they don't work. If somebody's searching for a specific brand in your town, they've probably already made that decision. And even if your ad shows up, and they're probably not going to engage with it, right? Because they've already made up their mind of who they're looking for. And even they might start the phone call and I thought this was ABC blinds, right? So then you paid for a click. You wasted time on the phone. So overall, we've seen that really those types of ads don't tend to work very well, and we don't tend to use them. So, all right, I got a comment here to look at the chat, so I want to make sure I'm looking at these. Audio is breaking up. Well, hopefully that fixes itself. How many keywords are usual in a campaign? Is there a limit? There's no limit. I don't know overall how many keywords we use. in general, there's going to be a limit on just the things you can come up with, I think. But overall, I don't think that there's really that big of a limit overall. So, all right, let me get back to this. I think that was all the comments. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Misspelled keywords. This is another example of something that you could take advantage of. I think it's a pretty small amount of people that are searching for your brand and misspelled the word draperies or something like that. But certainly things that you can do. Going back to the Google knowledge graph, they also understand misspellings of words. And if somebody does misspell something, a lot of times, even if I misspell something when I'm doing a search, Google says, "Did you mean?" And then they spell it right for me. But you can target specifically those kinds of things. So, all right. I think I mentioned competitors. You can target competitors, but probably a waste of your money, to be honest. It's not the best use of your money. Here's an example of one where somebody typed in the word Sunshine Drapery, a brand, and Proctor Drapery showed up as one of the ads. So wasting money, in my opinion. All right, let's talk a little bit about creating compelling ads. So in this case, a lot of times less is more. You don't have to cram everything into your particular ad. What you really want to do is add a call to action. Tell the customer what to do. Click here to set up an appointment, start now, those sorts of things. You could mention special offers if you have any kind of special offer in during these particular months. Maybe that's free installation, or that's $100 off X, those kinds of things. You could definitely mention those in your ads. One thing I would recommend is that if you have an ad, in this case, this is a display ad, when somebody clicks on the ad and they land on a page on your site, and we'll talk about landing pages here in a minute, the scent or the smell should be the same, right? So I clicked on this ad and then I landed on this page. Okay, that matches that. I'm definitely in the right place. We do see a lot of times where people will have some sort of an ad. Then when they click to land on a page, the page looks totally different. Or maybe it's even about a specific product that they didn't realize they clicked on, things like that. So having that ad scent is always a good thing to pay attention to, make sure that it is congruent throughout the process. When they do land on your page, give them one decision or maybe two. One decision is book an appointment now. The second one could be give us a call, right? If they want to actually pick up the phone, put a phone number at the top. But in reality, you don't want to give somebody a ton of distractions. When they've clicked on an ad, you just want them to engage and do whatever that next step is. Almost always that is book an appointment. Here's a couple great running ads. One thing you'll notice, we'll talk about here in a minute, down below there's some extra little goodies and then a phone number at the bottom. But talk about your products, talk about something cool, in this case 50 years in St. Louis, that creates trust and really helps out overall as well. Now, there is something called dynamic word replacement, meaning you can show an ad and then kind of leave a gap in the title of the ad for whatever the person typed in. So if they typed in draperies near me, then part of your ad shows up, and then whatever that gap is, that little inserted piece or that dynamic piece matches what they typed in your ad. And that creates familiarity. They're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I typed in. That's what I'm looking for. So dynamic word replacement is really cool. You can also do that in the text under the title of the ad. Usually it's in the title because that's where people kind of skim first of all. So definitely a really cool thing. The other thing I mentioned earlier was the ad extensions. These are extra little links you can add to your add to your ad. And they just go into a little bit more deep links that are probably related to the ad above that people could also be looking for, including the phone number. So it's pretty cool that there's a lot of different things you can do here related to that. Here's an example of a company in Denver who uses the ad extensions, and just check out how much more real estate they're getting versus their competitors who are paying nearly the same amount, and running ads up against these guys. But just because they have those ad extensions put in there, they're just getting more real estate on Google, and that means more potential eyeballs. All right, let's talk about landing pages. So landing pages, there's two main types. There are website landing pages, which is this here. So somebody clicks on an ad, they land on your site, right? They land on a page on your site. Some good things about those are, you can be specific to products, things like that. We don't really ever run ads to a website's homepage. The only way we would do that is if it was some sort of just a brand exposure, just trying to get more people to know about the brand. But that's not really what we do. We run ads to generate leads, right? So so that is that. Let me grab a drink here. Talking too much. All right. Obviously, you can run ads specifically to a specials page, to city pages. For example, let me back up one here. This particular page is Sunset Hills custom draperies and window treatments. So if somebody typed in window treatments in Sunset Hills, makes sense for you to land them on that particular page, right? It makes sense. It talks about that area, those kinds of things. Back to ad scent, it smells good. It smells familiar. That's what I looked up, and that's where I landed, kind of thing. You can run ads straight to your contact us page, although I probably wouldn't recommend it, because that puts you into a situation where it's like, hi, nice to meet you, let's get married, right? There's no courting. There's nothing else involved, and people want to kind of look and make sure they feel good about your business before they engage or raise their hand. Now, when it comes to some cons in the website landing pages, there's a lot more choices. So they've got that navigation across the top where they can look around at a lot of different things. They might get distracted, forget why they were there. It's hard for you to test a lot of different things to see what works better when they're going on a really big website. And I think the biggest thing here is the distractions. There's a lot of opportunity and things to do when you drive somebody to that. Now, in the case of landing page, you could call it a squeeze page or just a dedicated landing page specifically for the ad. This is where most of our clients go towards. It's just an ad that talks about a specific thing, and that's all it does. There's only one call to action, or one action item, and that is to set an appointment. It really caters more to people in that purchase mode. So there could be people that are just doing research and they're thinking about getting window treatments 3 to 6 months from now. These are not your people when it comes to running ads and landing pages. These are more built for people who are ready to set an appointment right away, right? They're in that kind of like purchase mode, you could call it. Pros: to the point, not many distractions. There's really only one way out, and that is the back button. The cons probably is that there is less information, right? They can't really look around and spend all the time learning all kinds of things about your business. But these are very, very efficient and work very, very well. All right, let's talk about tracking next, because tracking is a big piece of this. If you're not tracking things, then you're probably wasting a lot of money. So the biggest thing here is conversion tracking. We use a tool called Google Tag Manager for all of our clients. This system basically tracks every person who clicks on an ad. They track that person all the way through to, did that person pick up the phone, or did that person fill out a form? Did that person take a next step? If yes, then Google takes note of that and then wants to show your ad to more people like that, right? So that's all done through conversion tracking. It's in the back end of Google Tag Manager if you use that particular system. In this case, it also ties to our lead boomerang system, which is what all of our clients use internally. For every lead that they get, they can see exactly where these leads came from and what source they came from as well. All of that is done through this system. Now, I mentioned this a little bit ago, but conversion tracking is very, very important. If you value money, conversion tracking is very important. Just to know, okay, I put $1 in and $2 came out. That's great. I put $1 in and $5 came out. Okay, let's do more of that, right? Or I put $1 in and 50 cents came out. So you need to know what's working, what's not working. And the only way to do that is with the conversion tracking piece in place. Another thing that we do for every one of our clients is call tracking. So every ad gets a special phone number. That phone number only shows up on pay-per-click ads. Doesn't show up on their website, doesn't show up in any other advertising they're doing anywhere. So we know if somebody dialed that number, that was 100% because of a pay-per-click ad that we ran. So definitely use call tracking. Again, this is built into our lead boomerang system as well. And then once you get them into your system, you can start to tag them into like your CRM type system. For instance, lead boomerang, you tag those contacts in there so you know exactly where they came from. Now, when it comes to KPIs, key performance indicators, there's a couple different things that you can track. You can track how much it's cost you to show your ad 1,000 times. Cost per click, or how much it's costing you every time somebody does click on your ad. Cost per action typically is tied to an e-commerce situation. More often, customer actually bought your product, or they did some action. Could also be that they signed up for your newsletter or something like that. And then cost per lead is user submits their info to become a lead, or they raise their hand in some particular way. Now, for us, there's a couple different things. Total spend, obviously, you want to know that every month. Your cost per click, or how much it costs you every time somebody clicks on your ad. But most importantly is cost per lead. So I put $1 in, $5 came out. So I spent $1 and I made $5 in lead value. So that is definitely the most important. Again, all of this can show up on your dashboard. Now, Google does give you an ad dashboard, but it's always good to see something like Lead Boomerang, which tracks your other lead sources beyond just ads, right? So you can see how your Google ads are performing, how your Facebook ads are performing, how your chat widget is doing, how your SEO is doing, all of these other things, social media, all the other things you're doing on one dashboard is always really nice to know, and definitely, important when it comes to ROI, which if you're a business owner, we're tracking this all the time. Is it ROI positive? For sure. Now, I mentioned earlier, cost per lead is by far the biggest one that we track for our customers. Just so you know, the average window treatment lead, $160 to $210, somewhere in that range, on average, is what it costs to get a lead from any network. So this is a very generic number across all the different ways that you can do it. Our mission here with our clients is to drive down their cost per lead. So they might be spending $1,000 if they're new and they're getting leads at $150 a month. $150 each. that means they're going to get about 7 leads, right? So if we can drive down the cost per lead or how much it costs for them to acquire that lead by writing better ads, creating better landing pages, testing different things, if we could drive that down to $100, now they're still spending the same amount, but they're getting 10 leads instead of 7 for that number, right? So overall, we want to drive cost per lead down because if you can get leads cheaper, probably going to be happier, right? So this is the formula. It's pretty easy. How much did you spend? How many leads did you get? All right, what's working now? The biggest thing that's working now is in the what we call the 3-pack of results, the Google Business Profile or Google My Business, a lot of people call it. Inside this area, you have the 3 organic listings, and then you can have a 4th listing here that is a sponsored listing. That's something you can do through Google Ads. Right now, our clients are seeing 60, sometimes 70% of their leads are coming from this 3-pack. So sure, if you can get in here in the number 1 spot organically, have a really nice optimized website, have a lot of reviews, be in the area. This is a great example of getting into this. And then in this case, what does that company say? Vogue, Window Fashions. Vogue isn't one of these 3 that shows up when somebody does this particular search. So they're running an ad to show up at the top. The great thing is they show up first in what we call the 3-pack. And that's going to generate a ton of leads for them. So super cool way to kind of get in there and start showing ads inside the maps area in Google. And that's some settings in the back end of Google Ads. Google doesn't show you every single time in that area, but definitely something you could optimize and set your site up to do. Also, video pre-roll. We talked a little bit about this on YouTube, for example. Have your ad show up before the person watches the video. Always really, really good way to build your brand and get some of those people that maybe were on your website, went somewhere else, and then they start seeing your ad on different networks and platforms as well. Speaking of platforms, there are plenty of other platforms out there. I did mention this earlier. The other one I did kind of want to go through really is the Facebook retargeting or remarketing. And this is where somebody visits your site. They get a pixel added onto their computer, their browser, and then they start seeing your ads on Facebook. So great way to get back in front of people, circle back in front of them, because you don't know what happened when they were on your website. The doorbell may have rang, baby started crying, whatever it was. This is a great way to get back in front of those people. Always a very, very cheap way to get back in front of them. And it works great. So now if you're using like Lead Boomerang, we've also got a tool called Email Boomerang, which does some of the same stuff, but with a little twist to it. Somebody comes and visits your website. Our system actually reverse engineers who that visitor is and then sends them an email and says, thank you for visiting our website. Here's a little bit more about our business. So there's some really cool things you can do with the ads, even for those people who clicked on your ad but didn't necessarily engage. There are still ways that you can get in front of them. That's our Email Boomerang tool is one of the tools that does that. It's really cool. When it comes to unlimited scalability, I mentioned this earlier, it really comes down to budget. But if you're putting $1 in and $5 is coming out, in theory, you could scale that up unlimited, to any number. The 2 constraints here really are geographic area, population. There's only so many people that you can show your ad to. And then obviously budget. That's the other big piece of it. Now, when it comes to our clients, pay-per-click is something that we roll out quickly because we want to get them leads sooner than later. At the same time, we build them a new website. We start working on their SEO. We're building citations. We're building links, all these other things. But that takes a while for SEO to really kind of gain momentum and start to generate leads on its own, right? So pay-per-click is the answer early on in a relationship with one of our clients. Now, at some point, your SEO starts to take off, and that's when the conversation might change. Probably around 50% of our clients just say, let's keep going with pay-per-click, or let's modify it for the searches that we're not ranking well in SEO yet for. And then 50% of our clients take that budget and just pull it back and apply it elsewhere because the SEO is starting to work very well. So there's a couple different ways to go about it, but that doesn't happen, for 6 months in a lot of cases. So you don't want to pull that budget back if it's not actually if it's going to hurt you in the long run. So all right, let's see here. Not sure what that is. Oh, these are just different AdWord keywords examples. All right, let's see here. Let's talk about things examples where advertiser to advertiser perform different, right? So advertiser or judges their ad value, and there are 3 people click on their ads or 4 click ads. Spent a lot of time on their ads, really great, and they show up first in Google. It's not always just about put more money towards it and outrank all the big guys, right? You'll blow through your budget, and then you'll say it. Another one, campaign forward, and we come across these all the time. We just came across one recently. They were spending a month only one campaign every word and every do that. Probably result in a to it, with this formula in place. The best way to blast through them. About this earlier, if somebody put on ends, and then on the right they land on your show page, they're going to back what happened. Step. A lot of people come to a landing page. There's no obvious here. Is it orange? Is it different? The obvious needs to be a big part of that. Too many choices, too many things that are potential ways that people could engage with your business, learn more about it. This is why we really like landing pages versus dumping people to an actual page on a website. Wrong landing page. A lot of times people will run ads and they'll dump every single click to their homepage. And that's not the best user scenario. If they're searching for shutters, you should dump them straight to your shutters page, not to your homepage. So having the wrong landing page is another great way to waste your budget. Now, a couple last things. If you are hiring a pay-per-click person to help you, here are some questions that you could ask, and I will send these questions out after the webinar today, just to make sure that everybody knows about those. So, how much of my budget goes to you versus your management fees? What are your KPIs? All the things that we talked about today are definitely a big piece of this. Do you do split test ads? So you're trying a blue button versus an orange button. Do you change a word and see if that works better? Those types of things are very important. Are you going to add or use ad extensions? And then obviously, what is your target cost per lead? All right, so that is an overview of pay-per-click. We went through a lot of different things. I hope you guys learned and got some value out of this. Again, this is one piece, number 5 here, of our digital dominance method. There are a lot of pieces involved in this, and that's just one piece. So let's get over to Q&A and see what's going on here. See what questions we have. So. All right. How can paid ads help my window treatment business grow? So I think, a lot of times business owners are interested in the direct benefits and potential impact that paid ads can have on your business. So obviously it can help, but if you have to build it out with the campaigns, the ad groups. You have to build it out that way and build it right from the start. And then at the end of the day, you can start to see that cost per lead, how much that's costing you. Again, I put $1 in, $5 came out, or I put $1 in and 50 cents came out. But most of our clients, are doing paid ads, and they're doing a fantastic job with it. So what is the average cost per click in window treatment industry? So typically it's around $150, $160 to $210 right out of the gate. So that's a new company advertising on Google. That's what you can expect to pay on average. There are a lot of variables there, how much competition you have, the size of the audience, those kinds of things, something like that. Albert has a question. How do you handle an area outside your GMB? So in Google Ads, you can show your ads anywhere. Albert, I know that you guys are in California. You could show your ads in Manhattan if you wanted to. You just choose that area and show your ads. So obviously you wouldn't want to do that, but there is a way to set up the geographic area, not necessarily tied to your GMB profile. Let's see. Expected budget. Oh, that's a good one. For our clients, we recommend we recommend $1,000 minimum. In fact, we won't do ads for less than that. The biggest reason being Google needs to have enough meat on the bone to understand your audience. And if you're spending $300-400 a month on ads, first of all, that's probably 2 leads that you can get for that. And Google's not going to have enough information, data to optimize and make it better in the coming months, right? The obviously idea here is to drive that cost per lead down. We need to give them enough data, and in this case, budget, to make that happen a little bit. Tranquil says, what can you share again the average cost per lead? So right out of the gate, a new company that hasn't advertised in a while or at all should expect to pay around $160 to $210 per lead in the first month. So Google's going to put you into what they call a learning mode, and they're going to learn about your business. So you have to kind of get through that. In most cases, in month 1, and sometimes even 6 or 7 weeks into an ad campaign, your hope is to break even. Just get through that learning phase from Google so they can learn about your audience, your ads. Gives you some time to really generate some good ads, but expect to pay that early on. Now, as months go on, that CPL gets cheaper. We've got clients that have been advertising with us for a year or 2 that might be spending $30 per lead.
What's coming? Sharing our brand new website where you can show your business to more people. Showcase your website and social media pages. Get leads who are looking for you. Watch out for our upcoming website to feature your window treatment business. What's coming? Sharing our brand new website where you can show your business to more people. Showcase your website and social media pages. Get leads who are looking for you. Watch out for our upcoming website to feature your window treatment business.
Hello. All right. So it seems that Will is out. Will is currently out. He might have lost internet connection. So we will try to field any more questions if you have any from the rest of um, the chat. So I think we have like a few more. So by the way, my name is I. I'm taking over. I'm the operations manager for Window Treatment Marketing Pros, and I will just answer the last few questions from people in chat. So I think we ended with the expected budget. So the next part would be um, how can I measure the success of my paid ad campaigns? So this was mentioned earlier during the webinar that there are certain KPIs set by that you should set. Sorry, whenever you do um, your PPC campaigns or your paid ad campaigns. So um, in order for you to know whether your campaign is successful or not, you have to check on those KPIs every now and then. You know, check for example, one of the best ways to know is your cost per lead. Is your cost per lead below industry average, or is it above it? So most of the time, when your cost per lead is much lower, that means your campaign is on its way to be successful. It doesn't automatically make it successful though.
So there are multiple other things that you have to look at. So next, and I think last question: how can paid ads help me compete with larger window treatment brands? So this is possible. You can, even if you're a smaller window treatment company, you can compete with larger brands. We do have a number of clients who are, considered small, but are getting leads, although they have two or three big names within their locality. So it's possible. However, the problem is that it becomes a bidding war, especially for Google Ads. So basically, um, the top um, the top space for PPC or the ads is reserved for the highest bidder. So if you have a smaller budget, you can still get ahead of the larger window treatment brand, but it will eat up your budget really fast. So we don't really recommend that, especially for clients who have very small budgets, or like regular budgets like $1,000, 1,500. We try to be smart about it, not go head to head with the bigger brands because they will eat us alive. But it's a possibility. You can get leads even though there's a big brand within your area. And I think that's it. I think we have answered all the questions posted on chat, on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. So thank you so much, guys, for joining this. Although we lost Will just before we ended, I hope you learned a lot from this webinar. If you want to get a recording, we'll be processing the recording a few minutes after this, and we'll be sending it to all people who have subscribed to our newsletter and to the webinar chain. All right, so thank you so much and hope you have a great day.